Basic psychology. Free will and determinism. Free will. Did you know that free will is an important concept in psychology?
No, I didn't. What is free will exactly?
Free will is the ability of an individual to make choices and control their own behavior, without being influenced by internal or external pressures.
Interesting. So it's not about making random decisions, but having the freedom to choose?
Exactly. The humanistic approach in psychology, pioneered by thinkers like Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers, emphasizes the importance of self-determination and free will.
I see. How does free will relate to self-development and self-actualization?
According to Rogers, without free will, individuals cannot take responsibility for their own behavior and struggle to make positive changes in their lives.
That makes sense. So free will is essential for personal growth and reaching one's full potential?
Yes, that's the core idea. Humanistic psychologists believe that free will is a fundamental aspect of human behavior and well-being. Evaluating free will. Have you ever wondered if we truly have free will? Or if our choices are actually predetermined?
That's a fascinating question. I've heard about the debate around free will, but I don't fully understand it.
Well, let me share some insights. B.F. Skinner, a renowned psychologist, proposed that free will is actually an illusion.
An illusion? How so?
Skinner argued that even when we think we're making choices, those choices are actually determined by our past experiences and reinforcement.
Wow, that's a pretty bold claim. So, we don't really have control over our decisions?
That's right. But interestingly, research suggests that even if free will is an illusion, believing in it can have benefits.
Benefits? Like what?
Studies have shown that people who believe they have an internal locus of control, meaning they feel they can influence their own lives, tend to be more mentally healthy.
That's fascinating. So, even if we don't actually have free will, thinking we do can have a positive impact on our well-being.
Exactly. And there's more. Neurological studies by Benjamin Libet have suggested that our brain activity can determine our choices before we're even aware of them.
Wow, that's really thought-provoking. It makes me wonder if we truly have any control over our actions.
Determinism. Have you ever heard of the concept of determinism?
No, I'm not familiar with it. What is it?
Determinism is the idea that our behavior is not a result of free will, but rather is determined by factors beyond our control.
Wow, that's interesting. What are some of the different types of determinism?
There are a few main types. Biological determinism suggests that our behavior is influenced by our genetics and biology, such as our brain structure and neurotransmitters.
I see, so our genes and hormones play a big role in shaping our behavior?
Exactly. Research has even identified specific genes linked to intelligence, like the IGF-2R gene.
Fascinating. What about other types of determinism?
Environmental determinism is the idea that our behavior is shaped by our experiences and learning. Behaviorists believe all behavior is due to previous experiences, like classical and operant conditioning.
That makes sense. So things like phobias and habits can be explained by environmental determinism?
Exactly. And then there's psychic determinism, which is based on Freud's theory that our adult behavior is determined by our early childhood experiences and development.
Wow, there's a lot to consider when it comes to determinism. It really challenges the idea of free will, doesn't it?
Evaluating determinism. Did you know that it's unlikely that 100% of genetic determination will ever be found for any types of behavior?
Really? I thought genetics played a much bigger role in shaping our behavior.
Well, studies have shown that even for traits like intelligence and disorders like depression, identical twins who share the same genetic makeup only have about 80% and 40% similarity, respectively.
Wow, that's surprising. So genes don't entirely determine our behavior?
Exactly. Environmental influences also play a significant role in shaping our behavior. It's likely a combination of genetics and environment that determines our potential and how we ultimately behave.
That makes sense. But what about the idea of total determinism? Is that not a valid perspective?
Well, some argue that there's no such thing as total determinism. Chaos theory suggests that small changes in initial conditions can lead to major changes, making causal relationships more probabilistic than deterministic.
I see. So deterministic explanations may oversimplify human behavior, which is more complex and influenced by various factors.
Precisely. Cognitive factors like thinking, values, and beliefs can also play a role in overriding biological impulses, making human behavior less rigid than non-human animals.
That's really fascinating. It's important to consider the limitations of deterministic explanations, especially when it comes to criminal cases or mental health treatments.
Absolutely. Deterministic explanations can be problematic if used as an excuse for behavior or if they block the consideration of other beneficial treatments.